Keeping his cool on Capitol Hill, Judge Neil Gorsuch dodges questions on pending court cases as he makes his case to become the next Supreme Court justice.
As Republicans in California, we know how to lose. We've been losing for a long time.
Watching the political tide change in California, the voting bloc who helped elect President Trump and the women who continue to stand by their man. And ready to shine on the red carpet, tonight's tribute to a visionary filmmaker at the San Diego Latino Film Festival. KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Ebony Monet. San Diego State University is suggesting a new future for the Qualcomm Stadium site. KPBS reporter Eric Anderson has details.
The university is interested in leasing or buying 47 acres of land in the Qualcomm Stadium footprint to build a football stadium and expand the school's campus. San Diego State officials met with Mayor Kevin Faulconer earlier today before talking about what they are referring to as a two-page position paper. School officials say the idea is crucial for both the city and SDSU. The plan covers a total of 230 acres in and around the Qualcomm site. The school wants to buy or lease 12 acres to build a 35,000-seat football stadium that could be expanded to 40,000 seats. There will be 5,000 nearby parking spaces, and San Diego State is interested in 35 more acres for future school expansion. And SDSU is interested in controlling the rights to all collegiate sporting events in the structure. There is no mention of sharing the stadium with an MLS soccer team. University officials say they'll work with other developers to complete the site's facelift, which could include housing, commercial space, and a river park. FS Investors is proposing a $1 billion redevelopment that includes housing, commercial space, a river park, and a soccer stadium that could be used by the university. School officials have repeatedly indicated the proposed soccer stadium is too small for their taste. University officials say FS Investors' plan doesn't meet their need to expand the school's 240-acre campus. Doug Manchester is the final piece of the proposal. He's proposing to redevelop the site, and his plan calls for a Qualcomm Stadium to be renovated at a cost of $600 million. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
A new security measure for airline travelers starting today. Passengers flying to the U.S. from certain airports, mostly in Muslim countries, will not be able to have electronics like laptops, iPads, cameras in their carry-on luggage. The Department of Homeland Security says the only exceptions are medical devices. The 10 cities affected by the electronics ban include Cairo, Casablanca, Istanbul, and Dubai. The department has not commented on the reason for the ban. Today, the president's Supreme Court nominee faced a marathon meeting on Capitol Hill. Judge Neil Gorsuch faced more questions about his background, his record, and personal views on his second day of his confirmation hearing. So far, the nominee has not tipped his judicial hand.
Had you ever met President Trump personally?
Not until my interview.
In that interview, did he ever ask you to overrule Roe v. Wade?
No, Senator.
What would he have done if he'd asked?
Senator, I would have walked out the door.
Judge Gorsuch faced hours of questions from both sides of the aisle. He told senators no one is above the law when pressed about President Trump and national security. Senators probed him on everything from guns to national security.
Then how do we have confidence in you that you won't just be for the big corporations, that you will be for the little men?
I've written 2,700, I participated in 2,700 opinions over 10 and a half years. And if you want cases where I've ruled for the little guy as well as the big guy, there are plenty of them, Senator.
San Diego attorney Dan Eaton says the judge's record shows he follows the letter of the law and precedents.
This is a judge who takes the law very seriously and takes the particular facts of the case before him very seriously in applying that law.
Eaton cites studies showing Gorsuch may be more conservative than Justice Antonin Scalia and less conservative than Justice Clarence Thomas.
A Justice Gorsuch will take the laws that Congress writes and the state legislatures write very, very seriously. As he put it in referring to one of his heroes, Justice Scalia, words matter to him in performing the judicial function.
The bottom line, I think, is that I'd like to convey to you, from the bottom of my heart, is that I'm a fair judge.
The Senate is narrowly divided between Republicans and Democrats. GOP party leaders need at least 8 Democrats to help Gorsuch make it through procedural hurdles and on to the final confirmation vote. President Trump's budget proposal would cut the U.S. Department of Agriculture by nearly 21%. The USDA is responsible for nutrition programs in and out of schools. KPBS education reporter Megan Burks looks at how the cuts could play out in school cafeterias.
The budget doesn't outline what the cuts mean for school meals. That gets hammered out when Congress reauthorizes child nutrition legislation. Last year, Republican lawmakers proposed limiting the number of campuses that offer free and reduced lunches to all of their students, and they wanted to test a program to give states a set sum for school lunches instead of having it rise and fall with student need. Robin McNulty is with the San Diego Hunger Coalition and says the need in San Diego County is great.
We know a couple things. 1 in 4 children go to school each day without breakfast, and we know that approximately 90,000 children who are eligible for and participate in school meals during the school year do not participate in summer meals.
Coalition Executive Director Anahid Bracke says she's worried even fewer students will participate this year as immigrant families fearful of deportation retreat from public life.
One partner up in North County said that they've got a 25% drop in attendance for their youth after-school program, and after school is when that's a key time to reach kids with after-school meals. So as we're trying to look at how to address child hunger, you know, it's the school meals, which are maybe in danger. It's the after-school meals, which parents are feeling reticent to send their kids to these programs where they can get them.
That partner is North County Lifeline and confirmed the drop. Feeding America San Diego says its after-school partners have not seen such a drop. Bracke says parents in the country illegally should continue to claim nutrition benefits for their children. Megan Burks, KPBS News.
2 months ago, 40,000 women marched through downtown San Diego. As President Trump took office, the event was echoed across the nation. But it was women who helped Trump win the election. KPBS reporter Susan Murphy met up with some of those women in San Diego who say their support for the president is soaring.
Hundreds of women in San Diego who helped lead President Trump to victory remain steadfast in their support.
I am sure he will become the best president ever in this country.
I think we voted for not a personality, but we voted for a philosophy we believe in.
I just appreciate the fact that he has surrounded himself with people who are not career politicians.
The 1,400 conservatives who make up the San Diego County Federation of Republican Women are a minority in a largely liberal region. They describe themselves as educated and middle class with diverse backgrounds. Some hold careers, others are retired. Many are mothers or grandmothers. Together, they represent some of the 42% of women who voted for Trump.
As Republicans in California, we know how to lose. We've been losing for a long time.
But with a conservative government in place, the women, including one of the group's leaders, Lynn Regan, are finding new momentum.
And much more hope for what we can do for this country.
Regan was wearing her new Ivanka Trump dress and perfume. She made the purchases earlier this month after several major stores announced they were pulling the brand.
I felt that things were unfair to her line and that I didn't feel this was a proper way to express political sentiment.
Enthusiasm filled the banquet room during the women's recent meeting and catered luncheon at a hotel in Mission Bay.
And thank you, ladies, for everything you did to help elect that man. I am so happy. I mean, we have a turn.
The National Grassroots Organization was founded in the late 1800s. It was inspired by the women's suffrage movement. Its mission, to educate women in political issues, both local and national. The women also register voters, provide community outreach, and support local Republican politicians.
Now, some of the achievements of the Trump administration so far.
On this day, they devoted some of their meeting to discussing President Trump's policies, which they fully support, including the controversial border wall.
I have a right to lock my door at home. I have a right to have a fence around my yard. And as a country, although we need to be generous, we have a right to our sovereignty. And that doesn't mean that we exclude people.
They also talked about the travel ban.
As a concept, I have no problem with the travel ban, especially because it's temporary. And it's a process of vetting people from those countries where there is no vetting because there's so much conflict.
And immigration.
My feeling is if you want to move to the United States, you will apply for that, and you will be vetted, and you will be accepted or rejected.
In addition to regular meetings, the women are encouraged to participate in peaceful demonstrations to show support for the president and GOP officials.
We stand with President Trump, Congressman Issa.
Their new spirit of activism is inspired by America's political polarization in the aftermath of a contentious election. Some women recently rallied outside Republican Congressman Darrell Issa's office to counter protesters over the Affordable Care Act.
I wanted to make sure that my voice was heard as well, that I got into this realm of politics because of the ACA.
Others recently marched along the Embarcadero and attended a pro-Trump rally behind the convention center. The group recently wrote letters to San Diego City Council members expressing opposition to the council's support of a travel ban lawsuit. Now they're writing postcards of support to the new president.
My dear President Trump, thank you for being a man of integrity. You are keeping your word and trying to accomplish what you promised.
The San Diego, California Republican Women Federated support your efforts to make America great again.
Keep the faith. You are being prayed for every day by millions of Americans. God bless you. You're doing a fabulous job.
Next month, some of the women are planning a shopping trip to buy Ivanka Trump fashions to show support for the president's daughter. Susan Murphy, KPBS News.
That story is part of KPBS's ongoing coverage of supporters and opponents of the new administration. San Diego is in for some light showers, so we wanted to know if this wet season will turn out to be a record breaker. KPBS science reporter David Wagner brings us an update from the KPBS Drought Tracker.
California's drought is on the wane thanks to a wet season that could break records if storms leading up to April 1st bring enough rain. As of Tuesday morning, statewide rainfall is at 167% of normal for the entire wet season. It'll need to reach 184 to break the record. Scripps Institution of Oceanography climate researcher David Pierce helped compile this data.
We're near the record that was set in 82-83 at this time of year. It remains to be seen whether we actually break that record or not.
Now, while rain numbers have continued to grow, the average Sierra snowpack measurement has actually seen its seasonal percentage of normal drop by 10 points over the last week. Pierce says that's because we're starting to see some early snow melt. David Wagner, KPBS News.
You can see today's numbers for yourself and compare them to previous years at kpbs.org/drought tracker. After an ideal day, it's time to prep for the first spring shower. Shanae Shocker has tonight's forecast.
Well, the next couple of days here in San Diego County going to be quite a different story than what we saw last week. Last week, our radar very quiet, but as we take a look at it right now over the past 6 hours, things have really started to pick up across much of California, all the way down into Los Angeles. Some showers around as well as some rainfall, and we'll continue to see some of that heavier rainfall into central California, and eventually some of it's even going to reach down into San Diego County here. So you may see increase in cloud cover, maybe a spotty shower, but throughout tonight we are going to begin to see a little bit more moisture out there, and those showers around as well. 62 degrees for your low tonight in the metro area. Further out towards the mountains, Ramona, we're in those low to mid 50s. Showers going to reach into the mountains as well. We do see an increase in our winds. However, we're not looking at wind advisories just yet. Mount Laguna, 42 degrees, spotty shower and storm, especially along the coastal regions. We'll be looking at temperatures sitting in those lower 60s. Now, into our Wednesday, especially towards the afternoon hours, this is when things really begin to pick up here. We're going to see a plume of moisture reach down into Southern California around the San Diego area. So we start here on our Tuesday evening. Some showers out towards Camp Pendleton, going to be a possibility, but then we play this future cast forward into tonight around 10 o'clock. That's when we begin to see some showers in towards the metro area. And then towards tomorrow morning, looks like you'll have showers in for your commute to work here. Those showers going to stick around. We'll catch a slight break, staying cloudy out near the metro and inland areas. However, the mountains will continue to see a couple of showers around. And then Wednesday night comes, and this is where that big plume of moisture sinks in across the region, and we'll be looking at some heavier rain into the overnight hours, 12 o'clock a.m. on your Thursday, especially out towards the coast. We're starting to see some heavier rainfall here. Then into around 5 a.m. on your Thursday will start to dry out. So maybe a spotty morning shower hanging on around your commute time. But as we head into the rest of this late week, not too much going on into Thursday afternoon and Friday as well. But then we will see shower chances return for our Saturday. So out near the coast, this is what we're looking at. Temps in those low to mid 60s. Showers and rain Wednesday into Wednesday night. Saturday, those chances will return. Inland, not too much different. We're about 10 to 15 degrees cooler for your Wednesday and rising to 67 for Friday. Out towards the mountains, we do see a possibility of a wind advisory in effect with gusty winds out of the west, so pay attention to those as you're out and about traveling. And into the deserts, just a little bit of rain for Wednesday. For KPBS News, I'm Shanae Shocker.
The iconic California Highway 1 near Big Sur has been blocked since last month after a mudslide caused a partial collapse of a bridge. Local businesses say without tourism, they could be forced to close shop. AP reporter Haven Daly has this update.
There's nothing quite like driving along the California coastline on iconic Highway 1. But drivers are getting a rude welcome when they reach the southern part of the tourist town of Big Sur. The only bridge leading in is out.
We were trying to just drive down the coast back to San Diego. Heard that Big Sur was a really cool park to drive through, very scenic. We were just a little disappointed.
The Pfeiffer Canyon Bridge partially collapsed last month after storms caused a major mudslide.
This big landmass, which goes up the hill, is sliding down this canyon. Talking to other bridge people around the state, they've never seen this type of failure. An actual column being displaced a few feet causing the bridge to fall. That's kind of unheard of.
After the crews demolish the bridge, engineers say it'll take at least 9 months to build a new one. The main way to cross the canyon now is in one of these. You can see why it's so challenging for crews working in the mountainous landscape and for residents on the other side of the bridge.
Really desperate, not knowing where their next food supply is coming from. So there's been that, and then there's been the fact that the road is closed and there's about 400 of us stuck in this section.
While almost all the hotels, restaurants, and state parks on the south side of the bridge are closed, the Big Sur Deli and adjacent tap room remain open. The owner had to lay off employees and makes multiple 6-hour round-trip drives a week to keep the shelves stocked.
It's for the locals. In the bad times, you got to try to come through for the people that come through for you all the time.
Perhaps the one group taking this all in stride are the 12 monks living in this mountaintop monastery. Despite losing their main income source, visitors staying at their remote retreat.
Our fundamental choice is still to be monks, so we didn't come to this life because it was going to be easy.
There is a way to drive out of southern Big Sur, taking windy mountain roads, but the ride to Monterey, for example, which normally takes about 30 minutes, now takes about 3 hours. That inconvenient route is currently only open to locals on supply runs. But even if it eventually opens to the public, local business leaders worry few tourists will take the detour.
We as a community simply will not survive in any way that is recognizable without a timely rebuilding of that bridge.
Community leaders say they need a state disaster declaration to help save local businesses and to bridge the gap between solitude and salvation. Haven Daily, Associated Press, Big Sur, California.
California's high-speed rail project faces a new legal challenge. Opponents are trying to block the state from spending the first chunk of bond funds. The funding was approved by voters in 2008. They argue the state wants to spend the money in a way that violates the will of voters. The state counters that, saying that a judge has already rejected a similar legal challenge by the same plaintiffs. Well, lights, camera, action. It's day 6 of the 24th annual San Diego Latino Film Festival. And KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando is on the red carpet at Fashion Valley. Beth, can you give us a preview of what's happening tonight?
Yes, I'm here at the San Diego Latino Film Festival, and there's going to be a tribute tonight to actress Maria Rojo. And I have the festival founder and executive director, Ethan Bontillo, to tell us about what this tribute's going to be like.
Yeah, Maria Rojo is one of the legendary Mexican actresses, and that's what's exciting about this film festival. It's not only the 165 movies you can see, but you can meet the actors, directors, and filmmakers every day.
And you're going to be having another tribute to visionary veteran filmmaker Arturo Ripstein on Friday.
Yeah, Arturo Ripstein's amazing. We're showing his classic film, Profundo Carmesí, and that's what's great. He's going to be here. So emerging filmmakers, if you're interested in learning about filmmaking, come out, listen to him, learn about filmmaking, and then also just enjoy the festival. We have live music before the films and different events that's happening as well.
And talking about emerging filmmakers, we have an emerging filmmaker here, Nicole Opper. So, Nicole, you're going to be showing a documentary tonight, Visitors Day, and you graduated from Point Loma High School. So what's it like returning to San Diego to show your documentary?
It's always very exciting to be in San Diego. I loved growing up here, and I loved studying film with none other than Larry Zeiger, who just appeared on the scene right here, the Point Loma High School legend. You should get that close up. That was so beautiful how we just walked up like that. So yeah, we have strong, deep roots here in San Diego.
And tell us what your documentary's about.
Sure. So Visitors Day follows a 16-year-old boy named Juan Carlos who grew up on the streets of Mexico City, and he winds up moving to a group home that serves boys who have been abandoned or are runaway youth, 72 of them in all. And they also have a sustainable business right there on the grounds where they make artisanal goat cheese. So it's a really unique place, and a place that I had volunteered at as a 17-year-old, and it always kind of kept in the back of my mind as something really special and that I wanted to revisit and share with the world.
And your film screening tonight?
It's screening tonight, 6:15, right here, AMC.
All right, great. And we have another filmmaker here. The Latino Film Festival has a commitment to showing Latino American films. And in addition to all the diversity they showcase, they also like to showcase diverse film styles and genres. So you are tackling the Latino American experience through comedy. Tell me about Slapworthy.
Slapworthy is a romantic comedy that we shot here locally with a lot of talented San Diego cast and crew. It's basically our take, a little extreme, like a no-holds-barred look at dating and the new kind of life with social media and things like that. It's it's an R-rated dark comedy, so but there is an audience for that, and even though we're not one of these very kind of important films about subjects that are very deep, sometimes you also need a laugh. So we think that's important, and we're happy to try to tell some jokes and have people come out here and enjoy a good romantic comedy.
And your film showcases a lot of diversity in front of the camera.
Absolutely. The entire crew is run by very strong women, a diverse group of minorities in all different roles of the film. It's collaborative art, so you're only as good as the people that you surround yourself with.
And what is the importance of showcasing your film here at a film festival? Why is a film festival important to you?
I'm humbled. I came here 20 years ago to San Diego. I'm a transplant, but it's my adopted hometown, and this is the first theater that I saw the movie in with my mother when I got here 20 years ago. To be able to showcase a film that I worked so hard on that shows a diverse group of people in the Latino experience in the U.S., I think it's very humbling, and to be beside artists that are genuinely brilliant at what they do and to see their films as well. It's very important to be able to come out and see your film so you can show progress and so that you can feel excited and motivate yourself to do the next project.
And I understand the AMC Fashion Valley has kind of a special significance for you.
Yeah, 20 years ago, my first movie in San Diego was right here, and I don't remember what it was. I think it might have been Point Break or something, or I don't know. But it was an experience to see that and to be back here. It's humbling, and I'm getting a little emotional about it, but I'm happy to be able to share it with my friends and my family who are here. Again, my mom and dad are here today.
Great. The San Diego Latino Film Festival runs through Sunday here. They are showcasing more than 170 films from 20 different countries. And I'm Beth Accomando, KPBS arts reporter.
Thanks, Beth. The National Park Service is looking to expand and improve trails at the Cabrillo National Monument. They held open houses today to gather public input on how it should be done. Don Endicott volunteers at Cabrillo. He's also working on the second edition of the late Jerry Schaad's last book, 50 Best Short Hikes San Diego. He says improvements on trails and signage will make an already beautiful place even better.
You get the city skyline, Bayside Trail, and you get sunset and the crashing Pacific surf, the Coronado Islands, not to mention the tide pools.
The planning team is taking comments until April 16th. And you can add yours online. Coming up tonight on PBS NewsHour, imagine typing a sentence by thinking. The new technology that'll change the way people communicate.
To move the pointer around, I imagine a ball lying on a table with my hand lying on the ball. And as I roll the ball forward, the pointer goes up. And as I roll the ball back toward me, the pointer goes down. And of course, left and right correspondingly.
Plus, parents in a poor community wanted a new preschool. Instead, they got much more. That's tonight on PBS NewsHour, starting at 7, right here on KPBS. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.